Hi ladies, my name is Joyce Ann Washington. I'm a certified life coach, author, and self-empowerment entrepreneur. I work with women who feel stuck and unfulfilled, identify their passion, remove any negative self-beliefs, and create actionable steps towards the life that they desire. So if that sounds like you, please click in the link below for a 30-minute free coaching call with me. And if you would like to follow me on any of my social medias, that is linked below also. Now, with that out of the way, I would like to talk about my topic. So today what I want to talk about is how to release fear. So this topic is important to me because a lot of the times people don't go for what they want out of life out of fear of failure or fear of not being good enough or whatever other fear it is that is holding them back. And so I wanted to just give tips and tricks on how you can release fear if you have a journey that you would like to take but you're too scared to do it. Here are some tips and tricks. Before I get into that, I'd like to just share a little story about my fear. So one of my fears has always been public speaking. I don't know, I just have always been a super shy kid. And so I always made it my goal to just overcome that fear, because being able to talk to people and being able to share my message is something that is so important to me. And yeah, I love to write and that's great, but some people, it's easier to receive information when you're talking to someone rather than them always having to read it. So the first tip that I would have for you when removing fear would be to identify what that fear is and then why that fear is what it is. So with my fear of public speaking, the reason that I was fearful is because I felt like I wasn't smart enough. I felt like I was too awkward and I was too weird. And so with that, I had to lean into the fact that it's all right. I might be a little awkward. That's okay. So you really have to identify what your fears are and what you're afraid of and why you're afraid of it. Because if you don't know why you're afraid of it, you can't move forward. Like if I didn't know that the reason that I was fearful of public speaking was because I was a little socially awkward, I wouldn't be able to work on that social awkwardness or that feeling of discomfort. So the next step that I have for you is to take baby steps towards debunking that fear. So when it came to debunking my fear, what I had to start off with was I worked at a summer camp. So a lot of you know when working at a summer camp, you have to be talkative, you have to be rambunctious, you have to be a little wild and crazy because you're like working with kids and things like that. And I was a camp counselor. So that was the first step that I took. The second step that I took was YouTube videos. I just talked to my camera and then I posted it online, and I didn't care about whether or not it was perfect or anything. I just talked and then posted it. The third thing that I did was I started to do in-person workshops. So I had gotten comfortable with being a camp counselor and talking to youth, and then I got comfortable with posting videos on the internet. And so in order to overcome my fear of public speaking, I started to actually talk in front of people. So I did tiny little workshops at high schools and stuff like that, and that really helped build my confidence when it came to public speaking. And then the last thing that I did to overcome that fear was I did this big, massive keynote speaking engagement, which was really fun and really excited. And I'll actually post that video either tomorrow or sometime next week or later today. But it was a really exciting experience to get out there in front of a bunch of people and just share my message and share some of my thoughts. So take baby steps. So just start off with taking baby steps, because it'll help make the fear not as massive if you take steps into it. The third thing that I have for you is to release the idea of perfection. So we're not perfect. Nobody is perfect. You're always going to make mistakes. One of the things I was fearful of when public speaking was the fact that I would stutter or I would say the wrong word. So sometimes you just say the wrong word, and that's okay. You have to release that idea that everything has to be perfect, because if you're holding on to the idea of perfection, you're never going to take any action. So don't worry about being perfect. That's not going to happen. It's unrealistic to assume that you'll ever be perfect. So you have to start just taking baby steps and do it anyways. And the last thing that I have is a saying that I always tell myself is feel the fear and do it anyways. So sometimes when you're taking those baby steps and when you're releasing that idea of perfection and identifying what you're fearful of, you still have that fear there. And that's okay. Like, you're not just going to get rid of the fear in one day. So really you really have to lean into whatever it is that you're fearful of, because you're never going to overcome that fear if you keep on holding on to the idea of that fear being like this big thing that's going to end your life. Like, it's unrealistic to assume that fear is going to end your life, unless it's actually going to end your life. But like, my fear of public speaking, that's not going to end my life if I say the wrong word. So feel the fear and do it anyways. It's my favorite quote. So that is all that I have for you all today. Thank you so much for watching. So I'll just go over a review of the different tips and tricks that I have for you. Tip 1, identify what you're afraid of and why you're afraid of it. Step 2, take baby steps towards that fear. And step 3, release the idea of perfection. And then step 4, feel the fear and do it anyways. All right, so thank you so much for watching. Again, my name is Joyce Ann Washington. I'm a certified life coach, author, and self-empowerment entrepreneur. If you'd like to book a free 30-minute coaching call with me, that will be in the description box below. Much love. Bye.